Hey guys, so today I'm going to be making my very first sourdough video showing you guys how I make these beautiful loaves at home with a super easy recipe. Nothing complicated, no scales, no metric system, none of that, okay? All you're going to need is some measuring cups. You can get those at the dollar store. For liquid and for dry ingredients, some measuring spoons, some flour, and a active starter. In this video, I'm going to make a simple plain loaf of sourdough, okay, using my starter Cillian, and this is the end result of today's video. To get started, you're going to need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. If you want to use whole wheat or organic, or even if you have bleached flour, that's fine, so long as it's flour. So 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 tablespoon of white sugar. You're going to mix that in using a wood spoon. You can also get these at the dollar store. This is going to help you mix all your ingredients together and keep your fingers a bit more clean. Okay, you're gonna make a well in the middle and add in 1 1/4 cup of very warm water, but you don't want the water to be boiling hot. Okay, just really warm water. Then you're gonna add in 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan sea salt, and sprinkling that around the perimeter of my little well. And you're going to add in 1 tablespoon of honey and mix that into the water that's in the center. Okay, this is just how I do my bread. You can also mix the honey in the water before you pour it in. Now we're going to add in our starter. I'm using 3/4 cups. So a fourth cup 3 times. So 3/4 cups is 1/4 cup 3 times. Okay. Once you get that in the well, you're going to mix that in with your wood spoon before you combine in the salt. That's just how I do it, okay? This is not a video for anyone to come complain about how their grandma, mom, or whoever made it. You know, clearly I'm not your grandma or your mom or whoever. Okay, this video is to make this process as simple as possible for those that may be intimidated by making sourdough bread. Sourdough bread is expensive, especially good tasting sourdough bread. I've tasted some really terrible ones that were on the cheaper side in the store. So it's not as sour. It just has a good combination of sour and a tiny bit of sweet in the bread. So it's a really good balance, okay? So once you have everything combined with your spoon like this, okay, you don't want to, it's going to look a bit rough. Just let this sit a little bit covered for 5 minutes. Then you're going to come in with your freshly washed hands, okay? And you're going to pull your dough in. Try to get a section where there's flour so you know your hands are not sticking to any wet parts right away. And then you're just going to pull that inward, okay? So pull it inward, 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 like this, okay? And you're just going to use the tips of your fingers to lightly pull it inward and then knead your dough. This is going to take about 5-6 minutes to knead into a really nice dough ball. You know you're almost done kneading your dough ball when the sides of your bowl start to get clean, okay? So I hope you guys could understand how I'm kneading it. You can use a stand mixer if you want. So just follow the same steps as the beginning part of this video, and then put your stand mixer on and yeah, let your mixer do the work for you. I do have a stand mixer, but the reason why I'm using my hands today to show you this is because everybody does not have a stand mixer. I didn't grow up with a stand mixer. I always mashed, or we say mash, we say mash your flour when we make roti. So I always mashed or kneaded my dough when I was younger, so by hand. You're going to add some oil in the inside of your bowl. Take your dough ball and rub it around just a bit. This is going to help the dough come out a bit more easier from the bowl when it has risen. I started this dough around 1 p.m. And you're just going to let this chill out on the countertop for the day while you go do whatever you got to do. 7 to 8 hours later, the dough has risen. You're going to put it on a really well floured board. I like to use a cutting board to do my dough instead of my countertop. It's just easier to clean up. Okay, and what I like to do is do a tuck and fold, or a fold and tuck. Today I'm just going to kind of do it upside down so you could see what I mean. So I like to fold it in like this. Okay, sometimes I'll just do each side, but I like to do a fold, tuck, roll situation. Sorry about Lucy in the background, but doing a full tuck roll is just the easiest way to make a really nice, smooth loaf, especially if you're doing a round loaf. You can also do this with a like a bread style loaf, like a long loaf. Okay, and you can rub a little flour on top to smooth it out if you want more of like a rustic floured look on the top of your sourdough. And as you guys could see, I'm just rounding it out, smoothing it out, and that's it. Nothing complicated. Okay, there's no extra folding in this recipe. All right, you're gonna put it on parchment paper and just kind of pull it together like this, not too tight. Okay, you don't want to mess up your loaf. And then put it in a round cake pan like this. These are cake pans that I used when I was married, when I got married, I mean, that I used to make my own wedding cake. So you know, they really aren't doing much these days in my cabinets, so I use them to bake bread. You're also going to need a razor or a knife, and you're going to have to score the top of your bread. This will help release the gases that are in the bread while it bakes and give you that really high, you know, growth when the bread bakes. That's the best way I could describe it. It really expands and gets really, really huge. All right, you want to cut into about a 1/2 inch into the loaf that you just made. Okay, you can even put designs in this if you want. Totally up to you, but a simple, you know, cross in the middle works pretty good. You can even just do one slit on the side. That works well too. I'm sure you guys have seen in some sourdough baking recipes, people have used these really beautiful pots. I have one of those. If you have another pan, the same size, but a little bit taller, you can use that. I've even used pots. So long as there is enough height available for the bread to expand, that's all you need, okay? You're going to preheat your oven to 450 degrees while the bread rises for another 30 minutes, and add in a pan or pot of water. You want the water to be about 4 inches deep. And then once your oven has come to temperature and your bread has risen, you're going to place your pan covered in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes, depending on your oven. And then after that time, you're going to take the cover off, put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes uncovered. This is going to help give the crust a golden look. The water is in there to keep the crust from getting too hard. So this way you get a nice thin crunchy crust on your bread, and it's nice and soft in the center. Okay, so this is how your bread is going to look after the baking. You can also use a thermometer to check the internal temperature. It should read 200 degrees if you are unsure if the bread is done. So if you want to make sure it's done, use a thermometer and check the inside of the bread. To cut the bread, I suggest you wait for the bread to cool down completely, because slicing hot bread is, first of all, it's hot and the bread is super soft and your slices may not come out as nice as you'd like. So wait for your bread to cool all the way down. I let my bread cool down on the stove or on the countertop, and then I slice it. So this is how your sourdough will look. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I hope it didn't seem too complicated or that you feel intimidated by it, because honestly, when I wanted to make sourdough bread, I was looking at all these recipes online and I felt intimidated. I felt like it was just too much going on. There was too many folds. There were too many grams and weighing and waiting and whatever. So this is kind of like a set and forget type of sourdough. Super easy. You can mix your dough before you go to work. By the time you come back, your dough has risen. You just leave the dough in a very warm place. You can leave it on the kitchen counter and it will be ready by the time you come home. Okay. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. I do have starter available for purchase. The link is in the description of this video. If you would like to purchase, that would be great. If you want to start your own, there's tons of recipes online for you to start your own sourdough, but it is something you have to be committed to. Here are some quick videos that I've posted on Instagram on my cooking page at Cooking with Queenie. I've made so many different types of loaves. I've done everything bagel, cheesy loaf, and here are some customer reviews.
I officially have a bread making addiction. It's 10:14 and this is what I'm doing.
I'm so happy that I have been able to inspire a few, more than a few of my followers to start baking bread, sourdough bread. You know, it's such a delicious bread. Once you get a good recipe and you start getting creative and adding stuff to it, you will fall in love. But yeah, and I also appreciate them for believing in me and purchasing my starter and using it. Um, Definitely made me feel really I don't know, accomplished. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know what you think. If you purchase a starter, that's great. I appreciate it. If you don't, that's okay. You can make one yourself. It just takes about 7 to 10 days. Okay, and yeah, all it is fermented flour and water, and that's pretty much it. So this is just a quick video on how I feed my starter and how it grows. I have sent my starter all over the US. And I'm just happy, you know, that people are using it and are getting great results. All right. See you later. Bye.